see my cells in my body growing so fast they could see them growing with the naked eye. Around my heart, it was around my trachea, my esophagus, my voice box. And, I use my voice for a living as you do. And that's where the tumor was growing. And I felt great coming out of surgery. Doc says, Eddie, no, you're not going to play basketball, run cross country right now. Don't even think about going to school. You have what we call NHL. I'm getting ready to be the youngest owner of a National Hockey League team. I'm like, what in the world is that? I'm getting ready to be the youngest owner of the Red Wings. He says, no, you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm like, Doc, my first language is Ebonics. I'm still trying to learn English. What do you mean? He says, you have not one, not two, not three, but four. I'm filling my pockets to find $4. He says, you have stage 4 cancer. I'm fighting for my life when it seemed like I just started my life. And long story short, chemo, radiation 5 days a week, spinal taps, nausea, of course, the chemo, radiation, losing my hair, my self-confidence, self-esteem. I didn't want to fight this disease. You talk about depression, mental discombobulation, going through something that you wouldn't even wish on your worst enemy.
So talk a little bit about that. This forced confrontation with your own mortality.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember I looked into the mirror one day and I'd gotten bouts of chemo and radiation. And I would always go to sleep with a wave cap on.
Oh, yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, that's what we did, right? For sure.
Especially when the hair was short.
Right.
Gonna be tight.
Absolutely. I'm going to be tight and I'm going to be right. I said, no, this chemo ain't taking my hair out. I'd gotten bouts of cancer, bouts of chemo. I said, the doctor says, you're probably going to lose your hair. I said, man, it's been 2 weeks. I'm good.
Yeah.
I wake up one morning and I'm looking at my white pillowcase. I'm looking at hair follicles. And I take off the wave cap, and it's a clump of hair in my hand. I'm running to the bathroom so fast, like Usain Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
I bolt to the bathroom, and I look, and half of my hair is gone off my head. And the cry that I let out was unimaginable. I haven't cried like that since. My mother comes in and rushes at me, grabs me and embraces me, and just holds me as I'm crying in her arms. Such a vulnerable moment for me. And she said, son, it's going to be all right. I love you through this. You're going to make it. And that's all I had was her. People I thought were praying for me, literally praying on me. They gave up on me. I remember coming out of cancer. I'm in a convenience store. A guy inconvenienced me. He walks up to me. He says, didn't say what up, though. Didn't say what's good. Didn't say hello. He just walks up to me. He said, I thought you died. I was getting ready to have a Will Smith, Chris Rock moment. And I wasn't going to be Chris. You feel me? I had such a heat rush. My fist balled up. I didn't even know what emotional intelligence was at that time.
Of course.
And I had to exercise it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminded me so many people gave up on me. And I was one of the ones who did as well.
Mm.
And to resurrect hope, all you need is just that one person. And that one person for me was my mother.
Man, a black man and his mama.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You think about George Floyd. You think about Tyree Nichols. Who do they call out to? Their mama.
Their mama. Mm.
And that's who I called out to in my situation where something was killing me from the inside out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you come out of it as a young person.
Yeah.
And you continue your education.
Yeah. I got to Eastern Michigan on probation.
Oh, wow.
I told you, favorite 2-class school with gym and lunch, and my grades reflected it.
That's right. You did go to EMU.
Yeah, I went to EMU. Yeah, Eagles, man.
That. Yeah, Eagles all day. Yeah. And you got your PhD.
Right, yeah.
So,
yeah.
The doctor.
Yeah.
The doctor.
Yeah.
And so when we come back, I want to talk to you about what you've been doing on the other side of that PhD, on the other side of cancer, and on the other side of coming out of this wicked disease, man. It takes out so many people. I hate it. Yeah. I hate cancer. But more with Dr. Eddie Connor when we return. We'll be right back. Detroit with the great Dr. Eddie Connor. 14 books.
Yeah.
You like to write for somebody who didn't like anything but gym and lunch. So how did this happen? How did you become an author of 14 books? Right? Yeah. When did you release your first book?
It was 2005.
So
yeah.
From 2005 right?
Yeah.
To through 2023, this man has released 14 books, and some of us could barely write a paragraph.
I still struggle sometimes.
A book. Okay, take us on this journey, man. When did you decide that you were going to be an author?
Here's the thing: I never wanted to be a writer.
Mm-hmm.
It was the loving nudging of a mother's hand in my back,
mm-hmm.
saying, "You need to write your story," and me procrastinating. I'm one of the biggest procrastinators you could probably ever meet.
Lies.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I had to read a 300-page book one day for anthropology class, and I waited till the day of finals. Ain't nobody beating that. Mm-hmm. So she was saying, hey, you got to write your story. It's not just for you, it's to bless somebody. Mm-hmm. And I started falling in love with the writing process because it became so therapeutic for me. I didn't have therapy at that time. I was only putting my pain on paper.
We didn't have that consciousness.
Didn't have it.
In 2005.
No.
Black men especially. We didn't have the consciousness to be like, oh man, I need to go talk to somebody. It just wasn't there.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. And so the reader became my therapist. I was able to emote and express the pain that I had in my heart and put it on pages. And after I said, this is going to be the only book I write. This is to get my mom off my back. And of course, after you write the first one, everybody asking when the second one coming. Mm-hmm. And you could have never told me. And I'm sure you got a prophetic gift, but you could have never told me that I would have been in number 14 by now.
But what's interesting is the evolution of your subject matter.
Yeah.
It's really clear. So I don't want to give it away. I don't want to bury the lead. I'm gonna let you introduce us to that evolution. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've written on everything seemingly from the plight of the black woman, how we need to love her, in my series, Dear Queen, Volume 1 and 2.
Where did that consciousness come from, beside Mama?
I think it came from the fact of watching our sisters have upward mobility, seeing them outnumber us even as black men on college campuses, being the largest homeowners in Atlanta, being the ones who graduate from college and eclipsing any other
most educated in the United States.
Yeah. And so it was just kind of an elephant in the room, especially as I was doing a lot of women empowerment seminars, for me to write about the topic and the subject matter. And so that really kind of became eye-opening and really, kind of maybe put me on the map a little bit in my writing. Then I've written about...
A little bit. Okay. Did y'all hear his bio? Go ahead. I'm listening.
Man, well, and then also I've written about My Brother's Keeper, me working with former President Obama's My Brother's Keeper initiative, developing some of the language for that through my mentorship of black boys through Boys to Books.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So this inclination, this proclivity to mentor folks coming up under you, especially boys, where did it come from?
Totally because of what I didn't have.
Yeah.
It's kind of me mentoring my 13, 14, 15-year-old self as I was just lost in the sauce, not knowing who I am, no clarity on my character, no clarity on what I wanted to do in life and who I was going to become, much less what does it even mean to be a man. So I wanted to really pass the baton and kind of be that surrogate father figure, much less big brother, mentor to a lot of young brothers who were just like me. Yeah. And I taught as an educator for 12 years in classroom. And what I saw was when young boys open up a book, they close their eyes. Because oftentimes the language and the literature is not culturally relevant. As we talk about culturally relevant pedagogy. Walter D. Myers written over 100 books. Man, I got a long way to go.
My favorite.
Yes.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Right? I had to seek that out.
Yeah.
Right. Walter D. Myers was not assigned reading in any of my literature courses.
No, me neither.
Christopher Paul Curtis was not assigned reading in any of my literature courses. I literally had to seek that out. Now young folks have the likes of Jason Reynolds, who is just another prolific brother. He pumps out 2-3 books a year, but they close their eyes because there is no connection.
No connection. Yeah. Right. As he said, books transmit values. If I'm not in the book, what does that say about my value?
Man.
Yeah, that's a Walter D. Myers quote. I can't take credit for that one.
Okay.
It's so nice.
Monster? What?
Monster? Come on now. Right. exposing our brothers to that type of literature. A Tupac Shakur, rose that grow through the concrete. All of this, the letters to
It's
a young
all
brother,
literature. Yeah,
all of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so to see how their lives and their eyes open up to say, wow, Newark, New Jersey, from a hood and a community like me, hearing sounds of gun clapping, he ain't have his father, and they still, the book, The Pact. These brothers made a pact to each other to become medical doctors,
Yeah.
right? And so, but still connecting them to the sports and the entertainment and all that, but using literacy as a bridge to say, hey, bro, let's check out this language right here. But I'm also able to discover where our young brothers have been crippled in the 9th grade with a 3rd grade reading level because they were just passed on. Nobody wanted to deal with the issue that was affecting Jamal and Rodney and Ray Ray.
All our names.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What's so important is to provide that kind of visibility. I think innately everyone wants to be seen, heard, and understood. And literature has the power to give sight to so many people, right? And so many stories and so many different ways of life. But that's not freely given. It has to be sought out. So for you to stand in the gap and say, here, I see you, and in this book, you're going to see yourself too, right? You know what I mean? Like that, that is powerful. I want to know from you though, because every time I'm around young folks, I learn just as much as I'm trying to impart. What have they taught you? What have young people taught Dr. Eddie Connor?
Whew, that's good. I've never been asked that question before.
You never had an interview with Orlando.
That's true. That's true. At Bailey Bar, we need a buzzer.
Bailey Bar, I was ready.
Yeah, I think they taught me to the power of imagination. Because Pablo Picasso said one of the tragedies of adulthood is trying to maintain your inner genius and your childlike ability as you get older.
Because the world strips it from you.
Yeah, yeah. And oftentimes the poorest person is not the one without a dime, it's the one without a dream. And to see the resolute resolve that these young people have to still maintain a dream when oftentimes they're coming from a nightmare situations and instances and places where they're coming to school crying, where they haven't had breakfast, lunch, or dinner in maybe a couple of days, where they have to walk to school because they come from a blighted community and there's no street lights, to where there's domestic violence that may be in the home, and still have that resolve to say, in the midst of maybe sometimes the emotional disturbances and things of that nature, to understand that, hey, I can still make it. I'm going to still try to be a basketball player, a football star, or a lawyer, or a doctor, or a judge, and maintain that imagination despite their situation.
Man, I love that, and I think imagining is a radical act. I do, and I think that we have to continue to create spaces for us to imagine and for us to dream, right? Because oftentimes the realities of the present are so harsh, we have to have that space to dream about what could be. And the cool thing about young people, despite what they're up against, they don't have this cynicism that people like you or people like me would struggle with a little bit of age. For them, anything is possible, right? And so, you having this platform, Boys to Books, being able to prop up that imagination, right, and support it, is super dope.
Oh man,
it's super dope. Talk to me about this President Obama Lifetime Achievement Award, because number one, that's just huge. You worked on the MBK, so did I. That's fun. Right? That's huge, right? And I know you're a little bit older than me, but when did you find out you were getting honored by President Obama, and your lifetime ain't you know what I mean? Like some folks would say you ain't lived a lifetime. Like, what are you doing getting a Lifetime Achievement Award?
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell us.
It first started because it started with the President Obama Volunteer Service Award through an organization called Be Me, Black Male Engagement.
Yeah, man.
And I was one of 62 black men in America who was chosen to receive an honor, just to give veracity to the aspect that black men are not predators, but we're providers. You know, we're not perpetrators, we're protectors. We're actually doing good in our neighborhoods. And it's not just one, it's a multiplicity of us. And so to bring us all together to even receive it, I mean, it was just an incredible footnote, memorable experience in my life.
Be me, brother.
Yeah,
shout out to Travian Shorters.
Yeah, shout out to Travian Shorters, man. Travian Shorters, I mean,
prolific.
Prolific.
One.
Yeah,
another one.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Asset framing and us that we're assets, not liabilities.
Gave me language. Gave me language I didn't have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially for those of us doing work in the nonprofit work in the nonprofit space. You know, we gotta sexify the problem. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make the problem sexy. To make people want to fund it, and we start there. And Travian is like, y'all doing it wrong, man.
Yep.
Yeah. So what you got coming up? What's next?
What's next is there's a book coming out. I'm getting ready to put out my 15th one, and I know I did 2 last year, February and June, and I felt like I procrastinated on this one, but I knew I had to do it. It's called Identity. I'm looking at May 23rd is the release date, but Identity: Keys to Discover Your Uniqueness and Unlock Your Greatness. The book is really a journey of self-discovery. It's kind of the Discovery Channel in book form. It's it's personally exploratory. It empowers you to access the science of your existence to make a difference. The book is also a way that you find your space of how to serve and succeed. It's really how to put your dream in drive and channel that energy to really walk by faith into your destiny. And so I wanted to really look at who we are, who we used to be, and who we're becoming, and really define the essence of who it is that they are to the granular level of their core being.
That is amazing. The 15th book.
Yeah.
All right, talk to me about your writing process. Like, where do you go to write? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, how does this happen? How you put out 1-2 books a year? How does this happen?
Well, the thing is, I have to feel a certain level of inspiration about the book. I have to. Generally, it comes to me as a title. It just comes from God, definitely. It just drops on me. I could just be driving. I could just be riding. I could be washing my hands. It's kind of like Michael Jackson. They asked him, how did he come up with the beat for Billie Jean? He said, I was just driving down Rodeo Drive, and all I heard was doom, 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 doom. And then he just put context to it. He put language to it. There it is.
Not Rodeo.
Right. In Cali, man. So my California is my home. I'm just cooped up in the crib. And once I get the idea and I get the subtitle, the chapters come, and then I just take the time to write. Sometimes I'm writing 8 to 10 hours a day. And that's multiple days out of the week. And I write specifically off of inspiration. It's like a puzzle to me, and I'm just putting the word together. I really don't have writer's block. A lot of people complain about writer's block. For me, writer's block is just driving around the block. Let me go around the corner of this particular idea, this context, this concept, and then I can weave it together some way or some shape, form down the line. It all comes together for me.
Yeah, it's a tremendous accomplishment to start something and to finish it 15 times.
Right.
Do you teach people how to write books and how to get published and all of that?
I have. There's been a ardent clarion call for me to start doing that even more. People wanted to see me do it in sessions. I remember I actually did a session about a year or so ago, and it was really well attended, virtual space and place to be able to share with people how to develop a book and what the writing concept and structure is all about. Because a lot of people struggle with procrastination. 80% of people want to write books. Not 80% of people are doing them, though. So to start something and finish it, hey, I've only been able to do it 15 times. 15 times I found inspiration. So I'm blessed to do that.
All right, y'all. Identity: Keys to Discover Your Uniqueness and Unlock Your Greatness. We'll be on sale. What day?
May 23rd, 5/23/23.
Okay, where can they get it?
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Audible. So it'll be an ebook, audiobook, a hard copy. Yeah.
Who read it? You? Did you read your audiobook?
Yeah, I read it. Yeah, it's me.
Y'all gonna
it's
get
me.
This voice. Y'all gonna get the Billy D voice.
Well, it ain't the LB voice, but it's.
Man, we got to get you in Source, man. We got to get you in Source booksellers here in Midtown.
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
Miss Janet over there in Source, a black woman. Miss Allison, another black woman. I mean, really phenomenal space. You know, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and we're running out of time, but you know, it's always, you know, the hot topic, and you give a lot of advice. You give a lot of relationship advice, right? We've seen you on Steve Harvey. We've seen you at the Essence Fest. I mean, my guy's booked, bro. He's booked and busy, right? So talk to us a little bit about what you want, really quickly, because we only got a few minutes left. What a man and a woman needs to be in a successful relationship.
Well, I think they both need to define who it is that they are. A lot of times we're looking for somebody to complete us. Only God does that. Person shouldn't complete you. They can only complement you. And so I think purpose is that key ingredient. You don't have to do the same thing. You just need to define what you do in your own way. You can't expect a purpose partner if you have not first partnered with your purpose. And so I think as two becoming one, it is friction. But I believe once you both know what you want, who it is that you are, I think you can find some common ground and understand that compatibility is beyond attractability. It's got to be the key to purpose.
Ooh. Our audio engineer is in there. You can't see him. He in there.
I appreciate the love.
Beyond the attractability. That's a nice button on this conversation. Listen, I want to let you know that if you have topics that you want discussed on this podcast, you can hit us up on our socials at Authentically Detroit on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can email us at authenticallydetroit@gmail.com. Dr. Eddie Connor.
It's an honor, brother.
Thank you for sitting across from me today, man.
I appreciate it. This is one of the crown and jewels. This is going on the bio for me.
Man, whatever.
I'm interviewed by a Emmy Award winner, Pulitzer Prize to be. Amazing journalist that is. I appreciate you, brother.
It's time for shout outs.